Welcome back to Kevin Toll Reads. I hope you're doing well, and I am here with a book tag. Tagged by none other than Robert G. Reader of Books. He created his own book tag. It is the to reread or not to reread. It, according to Bob, is a perennial topic among booktubers and readers in general, is whether or it's worthwhile or not to reread a book, or is it just a waste of time? It's a question that he doesn't believe has had its own proper, i.e., one with prompts, answers to. He says if it's already been done, he apologizes. He's not trying to take any win from anyone's sales. Bob is a very humble person. I was also tagged by Marlicia at Marlicia's Musings as well in this one. And there are 7 prompts, with the 8th being tag and others, and we're going to go and dive right into this thing. And stick around, because today's tag video is a double feature. I have another tag after this one. And so, prompt number 1 of the to reread or not to reread book tag. Do you reread fiction? Why or why not? I do reread fiction. I've read quite a bit of fiction. I reread, whether it's different series, whether it's thrillers, fantasy, sci-fi. Yeah, I've reread some sci-fi fiction as well. From Blake Crouch to Michael Crichton to Lord of the Rings to Harry Dresden at the Dresden Files to the Dark Tower series 6 times. You know, I've reread a lot of fiction multiple times because there's a lot of good books, and I just felt like some of them are kind of comfort reads, and so I tend to reread them. Question number 2, do you reread nonfiction? Why or why not? The simple answer is no. I haven't read a whole lot of nonfiction to begin with, so I've never been inclined to reread something as of yet. I'm still trying to feel my way through and navigate through some different topics in nonfiction, so I haven't gotten to the point where I feel comfortable that I can say, hey, I'm going to reread this. And so, but that may happen. Certainly may happen. I've read, the Whale Ship Essex, the Tragedy of the Whale Ship Essex, and I really enjoyed that earlier this year. That's definitely one I could possibly see myself rereading. Question number 3, if you reread fiction, what kind of fiction are you most likely to choose? Bestsellers, classics, literature, genre fiction, and what is the reasons for your choices that you made? So when it comes to fiction, a lot of thrillers, fantasy, a little bit of sci-fi, just stuff that really stuff that's very quick. I've read Airframe 3 times. I've read Rising Sun 3 times, both from Michael Crichton. I've read the Dresden Files twice. I really find those just comforting and fascinating and funny. That's a fantasy genre or urban fantasy. I've read, obviously Lord of the Rings. You can consider that fantasy/classic. I've reread the Dark Tower series from Stephen King multiple times. 6 times, I believe, is my count so far. I definitely would reread it again. But yeah, those are the type of, genres and books that I reread. Number 4, if you reread nonfiction, what kind of nonfiction are you most likely to choose? History, biography, autobiographies, and what's the reasons for those choices? Again, I've yet to reread nonfiction, but, I've read a couple good ones, and yeah, I could see myself rereading them. I'm not a big fan of biographies and autobiographies. I don't find myself a huge fan of history, but if it's done right, I think that may lend itself to that. Number 5, if you read a book which has been translated from another language, would you reread the same book in a new language or translation? Possibly. I'm currently reading The Count of Monte Cristo, and I'm reading a specific translation of it from the Penguin's Classic Edition, and I really am thoroughly enjoying it. I don't know if I'd reread it in a different translation, but it's possible. I won't say never, but it's possible. Number 6, how many times would you reread the same book? Well, so if I had to list kind of in order, what are my top ones, I would have to say the Dark Tower series is probably the top one. I've read 6 times. I've read several Michael Crichton books 3 times. I read Lord of the Rings twice. The Hobbit, I think I've read 2 or 3 times. Dresden Files twice. I've attempted to read Wheel of Time twice, if not 3 times. I lost track, but I know I stopped one time at book 5. I stopped one time at book 6, and I think I stopped one time at book 8. I think it was 8 the first time, and then it was getting less and less each time, which is not good. But they are up there on the shelf. But I've tried that 3 times. I've read a couple of John Grisham books a couple times as well. I could see myself rereading some Louis L'Amour now that I'm getting into Westerns multiple times, especially the better ones. But yeah. Question number 7. What's the most recent book you've reread? Well, that's Rising Sun. We just actually, several of us are doing a buddy read in April, and I just got done finishing that last week. And so, yeah, that's the most recent book I reread. I think before that probably was Airframe, and which is another Michael Crichton book. And I think there was a Grisham book that I reread. But yeah, those are the most recent ones. And so question number 8, or prompt number 8, is tagging others. And I'm going to tag the following people: Novel Insights, Jessica's Library Card, Stuart Griffin, Quaint and Curious Volumes, The Vintage Paperback Reader, Books with Sam, Adventures in Literature, Books with Blake, Ted Redenstead, The Chapter Conundrum, Vin's Corner, Cliff's Dark Gems, Read and Reread, because that just seemed applicable here. Spread Book Joy, Reading Ideas, Steve Donahue, David Novak Reads, Jim's Books, Reading and Stuff, and Reading This Life with MJ. You've all been tagged in the to reread or not to reread book tag. Thanks again to Bob at Robert G. Reader Books for tagging me in this. I know I'm kind of late to the game here, but it's a good one, and I definitely hope others play along as well. Thanks.
1,000 years later.
And so the second book tag is from Jessica's Library Card. This is the quarter year crisis book tag, as she went on to dub it as like the quarterly year, how's my TBR going? And I thought that was really interesting and timely, because I was thinking about this as well, because I was thinking about doing kind of an update on how I was doing through the first quarter of 2025. So this is very timely. The original creation was by Roshin's Reading. And so Jessica thought, as well as I, that this all worked really well and time-wise, and so I couldn't agree more. I think these are very interesting prompts, and we're going to dive right in. And so again, these all spawn around the fact of, how are your goals doing? How are you doing on your reading? And those type of questions, what I found really fascinating and timely. There are 9, the 9th being kind of a bonus question where we get to showcase some other BookTubers or Bookstagram people, and I thought that was really cool as well. So without further ado, let's dive right into this. Question or prompt number 1, how many books have you read so far? 26 through March, pretty good. It's definitely below where I was last year, but I had a huge March last year where I was reading a ton of books. This year, I've read some really good stuff and some longer stuff, and had some buddy reads that have, I wouldn't say slowed my pace, but they've brought a lot of enjoyment. And so I'm glad where I'm at. And I'm definitely not trying to pound the numbers this year. I'm trying to enjoy and branch out into genres and different authors. So I'm feeling good about where I'm at. Question number 2, have you already found a book that you might think will be your 2025 favorite? I have some options. I think Lonesome Dove is up there. The Lonely Men by Louis L'Amour was really, really good. In the Heart of the Sea by Nathaniel Philbrick was another good one. And honestly, even though we're talking about January through March, but in April I started The Count of Monte Cristo, it's probably going to be a perennial front runner as well. So things are looking pretty good. Number 3, any 1-star books are least favorite books of the year, and that's without a doubt book number 29 in the Jack Reacher series, In Too Deep by Lee and Andrew Child. Wasn't a huge fan of this book. I thought Andrew Child's just kind of phoned this one in. It was very muddy, the concept and the premise, and just it just didn't do it for me. Especially, the voice of Reacher just seemed a little down, especially when I thought he was picking back up from previous entries, and I thought he was making a turn on his writing. This one was a letdown for me. Number 4, most read genre so far. Easily fiction and thrillers have been kind of like that subcategory in fiction, but almost half of my reading through the first 3 months has been fiction and thrillers specifically. And so, yeah, it's been a good year. Number 5, a book that surprised you. That is easily The Sword of Kaigan. I read this as a buddy read with Rowdy at Rowdy Player One. It's a standalone fantasy book by M.L. Wang, and we had talked about reading it for a while, and we decided to do it this year. And I have been looking forward to reading this book for quite some time. It's got a lot of hype, and it lived up to it. Number 6, a book that comes out in 2025. You're already that you want to read but haven't yet. That's Lethal Prey. It's on my TBR, but it's book number 35 in the Lucas Davenport series by John Sanford. I'm eagerly looking forward to it. After catching up with all of the John Sanford, Lucas Davenport books, I've been waiting for the next one, and it's here, and it's on my TBR, so I'm looking forward to that one. Number 7, one goal that you made that you're succeeding at so far in 2025. And that's a couple different things. I wanted to read some more nonfiction, so I've read 2 of those already this year. I wanted to read some more 87th Precinct, which I've done. And I wanted to start some more classics. And I've started the Count of Monte Cristo. I've been trying to read some classic sci-fi as well. And so, yeah, I feel pretty good about my goals so far. Number 8, one goal that you've made that you need to focus on. Well, without a doubt, I talked about this. I wanted to make some headway on the Virgil Flower series from John Sanford, which is a spin-off series. Virgil Flower is a crossover character with Lucas Davenport and Letty Davenport in their series, and he's an interesting character, and I enjoy him a lot. And I need to start reading those books. There's like 12 of them, and I haven't started, so I need to make some headway soon. And then number 9 is, again, to do a spotlight of some other booktubers or bookstagram people that you would recommend. And I have 3 of them. Aubrey Harper, I think she has a fantastic channel. You definitely want to check her out. Very positive. I enjoy a lot of her videos, especially her book hauls. Libronaut, I really enjoy his takes about books, and a lot of books that I don't read, and so I find his videos fascinating. And then Vin, Vin's Corner, high quality, really enjoy Vin, down to earth guy, read some interesting genres, sort of witty and funny, just really good editing. You should definitely check out these 3 channels. And so with that being said, I have some other people I want to tag in this quarterly year crisis book tag, and those are Johnny Keene, Dr. Cranky Pants Reads, Hannah Reads, Read Becca, Really Random Reads, Books, Songs, and Magic, Mystery and Mayhem, Great Books, Big Ideas, Albert the Conjugator, A Genteel Black Hole, Fresh Parchment, News from the Gelding, Michael K. Vaughan, The Library Ladder, Steve Donahue, Books I'm Not Reading, and Novel Insights. You've all been tagged in the quarter year crisis book tag. Thanks again to Jessica at Jessica's Library Card for tagging me, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.